Are there any bears in Bryan Head? That is a question I am frequently asked. Well, I have never seen a bear in my years up here, but just because I haven't seen them doesn't mean they're not here. After all, this is a high-altitude wooded area, and we are in their homeland. In fact, the area was once known as Bear Flat. But are there really any bears in this area? Over the years, there have been several bear stories. Bryan Head Town Marshal Dan Benson tells us that while he's never seen a bear here, there are often reported sightings, including one just a few weeks ago in the Dry Lakes area. There's a popular story of a bear that ran right through the middle of Bryan Head Town, chased by a black Labrador on the 4th of July some years ago. And there's a video of a bear checking out the dumpsters at the Thunder Mountain Boy Scout camp in 2004. So they've learned that it's always best to be prepared. But public safety officials maintain that the likelihood of coming across a bear in Bryan Head is extremely remote. That is, of course, unless you keep your eyes open on your drive up Parowan Canyon toward Bryan Head. Just before the S-turn on the right is a small cave often overlooked by visitors. It has been fondly known as the Bear Cave by locals for some years because of the friendly, smiling, welcoming bears that tend to occupy it. To be clear, these are teddy bears. Oh, all kinds of teddy bears. Big ones, little ones, waving ones, some dressed in sports paraphernalia, and every kind of teddy bear you can think of. They come and they go as they please, and we all love the anticipation of what we may see when we come to the S-turn on the way to Bryan Head. Of course, the cave as it is today is very different than what you would have seen 60 years ago. As longtime Iron County resident Boyd Whitney tells us,
originally when I was a kid growing up, which was in the 40s, why the road going up to Bryan Head was just a small single lane road with turnouts for you to pass another car if one was coming down the hill. If you met one in the narrow area, you had either one had to back down or one had to back up. But the bear caves before you hit the S turns was two exceptionally large caves that when they redone the road they filled it in with dirt, and you don't see the two original bear caves that was there. They were big enough that a grown man could walk in standing up, and there was lots of people that got in there out of the storms and built fires. There was always a fire pit in there. The old cars that went up there when they hit the Bryan Head Bear Cave area before they hit the S turns would have to turn around and back up the S turns because of the fuel tank being in front of the windshield, so they all backed up over the S turns. It was pretty scary, and especially if it had been raining, because that dirt in them days was very slick. It was pretty spooky to go up.
why did they call this area the Bear Caves back then? I can't find any reports of bears ever having lived there, so perhaps it was just an assumption by the settlers of this area. Either way, we here in Bryan Head are quite fond of our current bears. So who puts the stuffed bears in the cave and why? The Bryan Head Bear Cave is an example of an individual's simple idea catching on and growing, or in today's parlance, going viral. Several years ago, Parowan resident Ron Smith thought it would be funny to put a stuffed bear in the cave. He and his wife Sherry put the first bear in the cave and have since been sort of the unofficial landlords. Sherry watches at garage sales for just the right bear, and people often give her bears just for the purpose of putting them in the cave. But their idea appealed to others as well, who were entertained by the possibilities. It went from one bear to many bears, or even Cabbage Patch dolls, mannequins, Easter bunnies, and more. Of course, they're all so cute that passersby tend to adopt them and take them home, and the circle of bear cave life continues. It is always fun to see the variety of bears that take up residence in our cave. There was the Santa bear, the Top Hat bears, the feuding school mascot bears, and so many more. The bear cave and its quirky occupants are one of the hidden gems that Bryan Head's residents and visitors have come to know and love.